7.8, remember, you've got to remember your order of operations. So in your hints, you may want to put your order of operations. Remember, you're going to do your parentheses first. Anything inside of parentheses, remember, absolute values are also considered as parentheses. So if you have an absolute value within your problem, you have to do it first. Treat it as a parentheses. Then you're going to do your exponents. Multiply and divide occur whatever comes first from left to right. Okay? Just because I wrote multiply first does not mean you do multiply and then you do divide. You may have to have a divide before you do the multiply, okay? And same thing with add and subtract. You're going to also do it, whatever comes in your equation from left to right. Whatever comes first. Hang on, I'll go back. Okay, number 1. Says what number is equal to, and then it gives me 2 times 8 minus 4 divided 4. If y'all want to talk, you can get out. Okay? We have no parentheses. I have no exponents. Now I have a multiply and a divide. Multiply comes first because it was on the left, so I'm going to do it first. Then I'm going to come through and do the divide. Now I have no more multiplying and dividing left. Then I'm going to do a subtract. So 15, which is D, would be my answer for number 1. Number 2, when simplifying the following using order of operations, which operations should be performed first? That means you're going to do anything inside of parentheses first. Well, you have 2 operations. You have a subtract and a multiply. When you're following your order of operations, multiplying and dividing takes place before adding and subtracting, so you will do C, which is 8 times 3. Okay. Number 3, what is the value of 7 squared minus 4 plus 5? Again, following your order of operations, you're going to have no parentheses. I do have an exponent, so I'm going to do that first. Remember, this is 7 times 7, not 7 times 2. Now, I have no multiplying and dividing. I do have add and subtract. However, subtract comes first. So I'm going to do it first. So this is 45. And then when I do my addition, that is 50. So A is your answer for number 3. Number 4. You have 6 plus 3 times 2. Order of operations says I want to do the multiplying first, so I get 6 plus 6. And when I do the addition, I get 12. Okay. Common mistake is you'll want to do this first because you want to work it from left to right. And unfortunately, that answer was on here. Okay. So if you did not follow order of operations, then your answer would have been on there. Number 5, identify the expressions that are equivalent to 40. So you're going to have to work all of those out. Okay. 2 cubed plus 4 times 3 squared minus 4. No parentheses. I do have exponents, however, so I get 8. And I'm just going to go ahead and shortcut and do both of those at the same time. Now I'm going to do multiplying. If you continue talking, you can continue to leave. 8 plus 36 is 44 minus 4. So the first one equals 40. Okay, the first equation equals 40. I'm going to come right here and do the second one. This one is not going to equal 40. That one gave me 16. So far, just the first one. third equation gave me 40. Now I want to work the fourth equation over here. Fourth one did not. And we'll check the fifth one. So it looks like just 1 and 3 are equivalent to 40. Anybody have a question on number 5? So you had to work all of those before you could get the answer. Okay, number 6. 4 students evaluated similar expressions and calculated the same answer. Which student incorrectly simplified their expression? So you need to go through and look at each of their order of operations. In Joe's work, he would have to do the exponent first, which he did. Then he's going to go through and he would do the division. He did that. Then he's going to multiply, subtract, and subtract. Joe's work looked okay. Nancy's work, she's going to do everything inside of parentheses first. So she did her exponents, her division, her subtraction. Then she has to multiply next after coming out of parentheses, and then subtract. She looked all right. Brian's work, inside of parentheses, exponents first, then division, then subtraction. Once I came out, then he's going to do multiply and then subtract. That was fine. Peggy's work, we are exponent first, division. All right, Peggy made a mistake. When she got to 36 minus 3 minus 1 times 3, she should have done her multiplying next, and she happened to do subtract next. So Peggy's work was incorrect. Okay, so Peggy, everybody see where she made her mistake? Number 7, which is equivalent to multiply and divide, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to do this one next. I'm going to do the division next. And then I'm going to add. So 82, which is B. Number 8. When simple following, which one would be performed first? In this case, there is no parentheses, there's no exponents. I want to do any multiplying or dividing from left to right. I'm going to do 12 divided by 2 first. Anybody have a question with that? Okay. Okay, 6.9. In our hints and notes, you probably need to remember these and fill these in if you didn't already. 1 inch is about 2.5 centimeters. 1 foot is about 30 centimeters. 1 meter is a little longer than a yard. Okay. I should say 1 meter is a little longer than a yard. 1 mile is slightly larger. Okay, so 1 mile is about the same as 1.5 kilometers. Okay, but it's a little larger. 1 kilometer is slightly farther than a half a mile. Okay, so that's that one that has the 2 conversions. Okay, so we have to be careful with which one we use there. Okay, that's the tricky one. Under weight and mass, 1 kilogram is 28 grams. It is. What did I do? I left that one out. So 1 ounce. I was doing the next one. It's 1 ounce, not kilograms. 1 ounce is 28 grams. A nickel has a mass of 5 grams. Remember that because a nickel is 5, just in case that shows up. 1 kilogram is a little more than 2 pounds. 2 pounds. 1 quart is a little more than 1 liter, but we just say they're pretty equivalent. 1 quart is 1 liter. And 1 liter is a little less than 1 quart. Okay. All right, looking at number 1. Ariel practiced in the Monument Avenue 10K run. About how many miles did she run? So she had 10 kilometers. Okay, now this one you could have used either one. So remember, I'm going to write my fraction. So if I used the 1 mile, that was 1.5 kilometers. Now remember, my kilometers is going to have to go on the bottom so they can cancel off. So somebody with a calculator, take 10 and divide it by 1.5 and tell me what you get. Okay, so that's 6.6 repeating. Now, if I had used the other conversion, which on this one, I would go ahead and choose A. If I used the other conversion, which is 10 kilometers, and I used that 1 kilometer is half of a mile, I would use this. Well, 10 times 0.5 should be 5. And so the only one closest to either one of those was A. Okay? When they do your units, you're not going to get an exact, so you're going to have to use a little bit of rounding there. Do everybody understand why I would pick A from either one of those? Mr. Martin's science class was studying insects. They found a caterpillar that measured 2.5 inches. How many centimeters was that? Well, I'm going from inches to centimeters. So that means inches is on the bottom, centimeters is on top. We know that 1 inch is 2.5 centimeters. So I'm going to multiply. So somebody multiply 2.5 times 2.5. 6.25 in centimeters. So which one of those is closer? Probably do your 6.25. C. Okay. C would be the answer. Okay. Anybody have a question on that one? Number 3, Smelly's recipe for fruit punch calls for 1 gallon of lemonade. The store does not sell lemonade in gallons. Which of the following amounts should Sally buy? Now they have liters and milliliters. Now let's think. Gallons we can break down to quarts, correct? And then quarts we can go over to liters, because quarts and liters are about the same. So thinking of a gallon man, our own body, how many quarts are in a gallon? 4. So how many liters would be in a gallon? About 4. So I'm going to pick B. Okay? Everybody understand how we did that conversion? Okay. Number 4, the temperature of water boils at 212 or how much? 100 degrees Celsius. The temperature at which water freezes is 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. Place the given measurements in order from shortest to largest. We need to convert all those to the same. Okay. Well, which ones do we already know? We have kilometers and miles, right? Okay. 1 kilometer is slightly farther than half a mile, so we know 1 kilometer is going to be a little bit more than half a mile. Just a little bit. I'm sorry, more. I need to switch those around. I was doing it the other way. Okay. Now, 1,500 feet. Now, let's think about that. That's going to be pretty small compared to a mile, right? Or a half a mile. Okay. What about meters in feet? What do we know about yards? Three feet makes 1 yard, right? All right. So we know that meters and yards are about the same. Okay. So we're going to say that we're going to take 3 feet per meter. All right. So do you think the 1,110 meters, okay, is more or less than your feet? It's a little bit more probably. So that one's going to be here, which is still smaller than your miles. Okay, and that was shortest to largest. Okay. Now that could be a drag and drop type question, okay? Number 6 says identify each measurement that is approximately equivalent to 24 inches. Okay. Well, how many inches are in a foot? 12 inches are in 1 foot, so do you think 24 inches will be in 2 feet? Yes, so you're going to circle 2 feet. 5 centimeters? No, because how many? Okay, we already know that 24 inches is 2 feet, right? How many centimeters was in 1 foot? 30, so 5 cannot be equivalent. 30 centimeters? 30 centimeters is 1 foot, which is 12 inches. What about 60 centimeters? Yes. So the only two you're going to circle is 2 feet and 60 centimeters. Number 7, it says Lester bought 4 pounds of meat. All right, back to question number 7. It says Lester bought 4 pounds of food. How many kilograms did he purchase? Okay, we have 4 pounds. And we said a minute ago that 1 kilogram was 2 pounds. Oh, I can write today. Okay, so at this point when you multiply, you get 4 over 2. So that's going to be 2 kilograms. And I still can't write today. So if you bought 4 pounds of food in 1 kilogram, one kilogram is 2 pounds. No. I want to look at that one. We will go with A, but our conversion, no. I'll come back to 7. 8. A soccer field is 40 feet wide. How many centimeters are equal to 40 feet? Well, about how much? 40 feet. We said that 1 foot was 30 centimeters. So at this point, you're going to multiply. So what's 40 times 30? 1,200. Okay, so that would be D. Okay, that would be D. Okay. Any questions on conversions? Okay, 610, we're talking about our circles. Okay. The diameter is a straight line passing through the center of a circle and meeting the circumference at the end. So remember, a diameter goes all the way through. Okay. Radius is a straight line with endpoints at the center of the circle, and on the circle itself, it is half of the length. So radius is half of the length of the diameter. It's half of the diameter. So if the radius is 10 centimeters, the diameter is what? And I'm looking under hints and notes. If the radius is 10, the diameter is 20. If the diameter is 24, the radius is 12. Okay, circumference formula is on there. There's two of them. Remember, that's pi times d, r, pi, 2 pi r. Pi is what number? 3.14, and this is the ratio of the circle circumference to the diameter. Okay, and then you have an area formula there as well. So let's do number 1. Victor measured a circular lid and found the diameter was 8 inches. The circumference was 25 inches. Which expression represents an approximate value for pi? Was this not the section you were having trouble with? Okay, so then why are you talking so much? We already said the ratio of pi. Pi was the ratio of the circumference over the diameter. Well, they told me the circumference in my directions up top was 25 and the diameter was 8. So I'm going to pick B because this is 25 divided by 8. Now, the other thing you could do is we know pi's value is 3.14. You could do the mathematical part of A, B, C, and D and see which one comes closest to pi. Number 2. The circumference of pi is 62.8. I'm sorry, the circumference P is 62.8 inches, and the diameter is 20 inches. Which equation represents an approximate for pi? Again, you're going to do the ratio of your circumference to diameter. My circumference was 62.8, and I'm dividing it by 20. Okay, so in this case, I would have picked D as your answer. Again, if you had done the math, okay, which one came closest to the number value of 3.14? Okay, I will tell you, one of those type of questions will appear probably on that test, okay? They want to make sure you understand the ratio part, okay? Number 3, Drew took measurements of 4 circles and recorded the information in the table shown. Braxton, please be quiet. Was that not you talking? Who was it? Which circle will give Drew the best estimated value for pi? So here, all they're going to do is take the circumference and divide it by, like, circle A. If I can get my pen to write. Okay, the radius was 4.7, so what's the diameter? 9.4. So if I want to, I'm going to take the circumference and divide it by the diameter. Underneath, they told me the circumference was 30.07, and I'm going to divide it by 9.4. So somebody with a calculator, do that very quickly. .198. Okay, we'll stop right there, okay? Circle B. Okay, they already gave me the diameter. They said the diameter was 16.4. My circumference divided by diameter again. This circumference was 54.12. I'm going to divide it by the diameter, so somebody do that one. 3.3. Circle C. The radius was 5.4, so what's the diameter? 10.8, because you're just doubling that. Circumference, which was 33.9, and I'm going to divide it by 10.8. What do you get? Okay, and then circle D, the diameter was 14.9. I've gotten a hog stand for a while. My circumference is 52.15, and I'm going to divide by 14.9. Somebody do the math. 3.5. So which one gave me the closest to my value of pi? C. Okay, that one you had to do all that work to come up with, okay? Now, as far as I would write it down. Some of y'all shortchange and just want to do it. Write it down. Number 4 students in science class were given a plastic circle and asked to measure. The results were recorded in the table. Which student can calculate the best estimated value for pi? Again, you're going to take your circumference and divide it by the diameter. So somebody do kin. What do you get when kin divides his circumference and diameter? 3.6. Okay, what about Sophia? 36.6 divided by 11.7. Okay. What about Craig? 46.2 divided by 13.2. And 29.9 divided by 10. 2.99. Which one's the closest? Sophia, which would be B. Okay. Any questions there? Okay, 610. It says if the question is asking, we're under hints and notes. The question is asking for the distance around something. It is asking for the circumference or perimeter, but we're really talking about, well, nah, they did bring in rectangular. So you can do perimeter or circumference. The amount needed to cover or the amount of space something takes up is called the area. So now you have your formula sheet that you can use. Number 5, a circular plate has a diameter of 11. What is closest to the area? So we're going to use our area formula. Now they said the diameter was 11. So what's the radius? What's half? 5.5. I have to have my radius here for this formula. So pi times radius squared. So somebody in their calculator take 5.5 and square it, and then times it by 3.14. $94.985, and so in this case that would be C, because they rounded to 95.0. Number 6, Leo is designing a circular tabletop with a diameter of 10 feet. What is closest to the circumference and area? So we're going to find the circumference first. Remember, that's pi times d. I'm going to use that because I have the diameter. So I have 3.14 times 10. Remember, when you multiply by 10, all you're doing is moving the decimal one place over. So that's 31.4 feet. Now I want to find the area. That's pi r squared. If the diameter is 10, what's the radius? 5. So 5 squared times 3.14 is 78.5. I'm going to guess. Okay. So now I've got to match that the circumference and the area both are true, so I'm going to say that that's B. You may have a question on that. Number 7. Front Elementary School is putting in a new merry-go-round with a diameter of 10.4 feet on the playground. Before that piece can be installed, a solid circular pad of mulch must be put down, which extends 3 feet beyond the edge. Now, let's think. Here was your circle, and the circle of the merry-go-round was 10.4. They want mulch to be extended out 3 feet. So there's going to be 3 feet more this way, and there's going to be 3 feet more this way. Does that make sense? I think people, when we added, maybe we only added 3 feet, because this one appeared on one of our either end-of-year tests or our benchmark test, because I remember seeing this one. So what's the area of the mulch? So now, if this big circle comes up, what's my diameter of this whole thing now going across? 16.4, correct? Because I had 10.4 here, and I added 3 feet out on each side of the circle, so that's a total of 16.4. Now, I need the radius, since I'm finding the area, so that would be 8.2. So now I'm going to use my area formula. So somebody take 8.2 and square it, and now times it by 3.14. Okay, so 211 point, what did you say, 3 or 13? 13, whatever, okay. And that's what my answer was for D. Okay, I think the biggest thing would be is just to make sure that you add all of this in for your diameter. Okay, after that, you just plug into your formula, okay? Anybody have a question on 7? 8. Whitney built a circular patio in her backyard. The radius is 11 feet. Down to the nearest whole number what the circumference of her patio is. Well, because she gave me radius, I'm going to use the 2 pi r formula. So 2 times pi times my radius, which was 11. So somebody do the math. 69 point something, so it's going to come out to C, which is 69 feet. Number 9. Neela is making a rectangular placemat that are 12 inches wide and 17 inches long. What is the least amount of ribbon that she will need to create a ribbon border around a one placemat? So she's going around, so we're finding perimeter. On your formula sheet, you either have this formula or you have this formula. Which one is on your formula sheet? Back of the first page. Look and tell me which one they use. They may use both. Formula sheet. They use the first one. Okay, so this is going to be probably on your formula sheet. So you're going to plug in your length and your width. Okay. The length was 15. The width was 12. Remember, you are multiplying between 2 and W. So when you plug this in, don't put 215. That's 2 times 15. Okay? So when I get done, I have 54 inches of material. Now, what's the difference between inches and square inches? When do you use inches versus square inches? Will? Yes. Remember, perimeter is only the single unit, so it's just inches in this case. If you're doing area, you have to square it. Volume is what? Volume is cubed. Number 10. Number 9 is A. 10, area of a rectangle is 56 square inches. Identify the 2 measurements from these shown that could be the length and width. Well, area of a rectangle, we know we just multiply 2 numbers. Well, which 2 numbers down there get multiplied together to give me 56? 8 and 7. It does not matter if you put 7 first or if you put 8 first. But you just need both of those numbers in there. Okay? Anybody have a question on that? That's probably a drag and drop on the SOL. Number 11, how many square inches of fabric does Kendall need for a triangular flag with a base of 20 inches and a height of 40? Remember your formula for a triangle, and it should be on your formula sheet. It's 1/2 the base times height. They told me that the base was 20 and my height was 40. What's half of 20? So 10 times 40 is 400. And that's square inches, so that would be B. Continuing on to number 12. The perimeter of a rectangular play area is 216 feet. Identify the possible dimensions for the play area. Now they gave us 6 that we need to go through and work. So you're just going to have to plug in to your formula. So you're going to put in your length for each of these. I need that to equal 216. Well, what's 2 times 104? 208. And what's 2 times 4? And does 208 plus 8 give me 216? Yes. So the first measurement works at the 104 and 4. Let's just go straight down. 27 and 8. So what's 2 times 27? 54. And 2 times 8? 16. What's 54 plus 16? 70, I'm sorry. 70. That one does not work. Go on down. So we're going to plug in 62. So what's 2 times 62? 124. What's 2 times 77? And when I add those together, I get 278. That does not work. I'm going to go back up to the top of the second row. So now I'm going to plug in the 24 and 9. What's 2 times 24? 48. 2 times 9. And when I add these, 66. That one does not work. Plug in again. What's 2 times 54? 108. And again, 2 times 54. What's 108 and 108? Okay, that one does work. Now we're going to talk about that one though just in a second. Then we have the parameter of 2 and 83 and 25. What's 2 times 83? And 2 times 25. And when I add those, I get 216. Now, some of us got stuck on that one earlier because it said a rectangular play area. Now, let's think about it. Can a square be a rectangle? Yes. So even though that's a square, okay, a square is always a rectangle. Okay? So that's that flow chart. Okay, so remember that. So that one had 3 answers on that one. 13. Cassie and her friends went to the library to work on their social studies project. They pushed 2 tables pictured together. What would be the total area of the table when the 2 areas are pushed together? So you need the total length and width once they push the tables together. So what would be the total length when I put them together? Be 6, right? Because she's going to put those 2 tables together. That was a 3 foot by 3 foot. So it's a total of 6 feet. And still going across, did that change? Did the length of that desk change? No. So that's a 6 by 6. So the area there would be 36 square feet. Does everybody see what we did there? Okay. Number 14, the edge length of a cube is shown. That's 3 meters. What's the total surface area? Your surface area formula on your page should be SA. And you're going to have 2 length times width plus 2 length times height plus 2 width times height. Well, everything is a 3, so you're just going to replace all these with 3s because it was a cube, which tells you all sides are the same. What's 2 times 3? And 6 times 3. So every one of these are 18. So what's 18 times 3? So my surface area, it's area, so it's square units, is going to be 54 square meters. You may have a question on what I did there. That was just plugging into your formula. Do I now? That doesn't have a choice. So if you just wrote down a letter, it probably just shows me that you just wrote down answers. Okay. Yeah, that was just an open-ended question. 15, the measurement of a rectangular prism are shown. What's the total surface area? Again, you're going to plug in to your formula. Now, what I would do is I would go over here and identify what you're going to use. Does it matter what you use in either slot? No. So I'm just going to go pick. I'm going to substitute in What's 8 times 6? 48. 48 times 2? Right there. Because 2 times 8 times 6. And I picked 8 and 6 first because it was easier for me to multiply that and then double it. Okay? What's 8 times 7? 56. 56 double would be 12. What's 6 times 7? 42. 42 doubled is 84. When I add these, this looks to be 180. So it's going to be what? 292. Okay. And my units is centimeters squared. Anybody have a question on that? 16, complete the table using the rectangular prism. You need to go through and you're going to actually have to find the surface area, the area of the base, and the volume. I know.